saggy, wrinkly, green. Oh, we're recording? Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Warhammer 2, where the bomb replays keep rolling in, baby. The Greenskins are trolling in this one, bringing some of the units that have made them incredibly strong in battle since the Warden and the Paunch. And the Big Chungus himself has taken the reins, ready to grind the Empire into the dust of Gorgazon. But the Knights of the Blazing Sun will not go quietly into that good night. They've got a burning need to light some trolls on fire. That's why they've become arguably the go-to pick against the Greenskins. Stone Trolls and Troll Hags have become ubiquitous picks for the Green Tide, so for the same reason they're brought against Norska and Skin Wolves, you will often see Knights of the Blazing Sun in this matchup as well, because you need reliable flaming damage. So Kark has 3 of them here, with the Silver Bullets, Huntsmen, 2 Great Swords, and the Sons of Sigmar. Nothing super special for casting, just an Amber Wizard, Flock of Doom, and Kadon, while Boris is fully kitted out with the White Cloak of Ulrich and a Legbiter Runefang. The game plan is pretty simple. Isolate the trolls, isolate Grom the Paunch, surround them with flaming lances, and burn them into ash. But the Greenskins are a problem for most factions to deal with right now, widely considered in the top 3 best multiplayer races currently, and the River Troll Hag certainly plays a part in that. Very mundane, but very good lore of magic, AoE debuffs, a powerful slow, great bounce spells like Assault of Stone, and regen on top of everything else. But it's more about overall synergy. And this is a well-balanced mix of units here, with the Savage Orc and Gobbo front line, Orc Boar Boys on the flanks, a bunch of archers, and Rock Lobbers in the back. They'll be content to sit back here and pound the daylights out of this advancing Empire army, which has gone for a more aggressive type build. We are using Propa Stone Trolls by Urgat to give them their unique skin. They'll provide the punch in melee alongside Grom the Paunch, who is completely stripped down and naked except for Language of the Boys, which is incredibly good for Stone Trolls because it fixes 2 of their biggest weaknesses, low melee defense and terror routing. Immune to psychology in an area of effect is quite scrumptious indeed, but Grom must be in melee to give it to his trolls. First volley coming in now, 7-10 split on the Sons of Sigmar. Hammer of Gork hit everything but the Imperials, but the follow-up volleys should be able to do some good damage, and going for the Unbreakable troops is not a terrible idea, just to whittle down their HP and prevent them from face-tanking an entire charge for many minutes at a time. But the Great Swords might be an even bigger issue for the Greenskins front line. Savage Orcs are not going to trade well into those Zweihander troops, so getting rid of the Landsknecht forces early might be a good idea. The artillery should probably switch focus to them. Boris doesn't really care about anything on the Greenskins front line except for the Stone Trolls themselves, so he's content to go in, and so is Grom, dealing with the Sons of Sigmar, who are already down to about half HP. The only way for the Empire to really deal efficiently with Grom the Paunch here is to get Boris and or the Knights of the Blazing Sun completely surrounding him and chumping him down. Otherwise, the shooting really isn't going to do a whole lot against all that regeneration. And getting aggressive with the Knights of the Blazing Sun early is pretty intelligent. Frontal charge right up the center, and Fate of Boring going down. When I said that the Lore of Death is a bit mundane, when you go Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, there's not a whole lot to it. You just point and click and units kind of get deleted. Probably my least favorite spell in the game is Fate of Buna. I would love to see it get reworked, but it is very good at deleting elite Empire Knights, and we'll see the Knights of the Blazing Sun drop to about 1/3 HP after that cast. And Spirit Leech going down on the other Knights of the Blazing Sun. Greenskins know exactly what they have to do to take command of this battlefield, and that is to get rid of all this flaming damage, investing 30 Winds of Magic already in whittling down the Gilded Horse Lords. But do remember, Knights of Myrmidia have magic resist, which will certainly help them weather the storm. And this is a perfect engagement for the Orcs and Gobbos. Meat shields out front, 2 Stone Trolls packed tightly together, all comboing up on Great Swords and crumping them nice and proper. That is the closest the Greenskins will ever get to admiring true beauty, and it also happens to be an incredibly efficient way of clearing elite infantry off the field. Zweihanders cannot withstand this kind of assault, and they're quickly going to be run over and overwhelmed. Orc Boar Boys not making that any easier, and Landsknecht mercenaries going flying across the screen for your entertainment. Now on this side, Flock of Doom, an overcast one, hitting a huge blob of Greenskin troops. Boris is fully committed, as are the Knights of the Blazing Sun. You can see already one of those Knight units has broken off, and we might not see them make much of an impact anymore. For now, the ranged firepower for the Empire is online and safe, but the Spider Riders and the Orc Boar Boys and the Wolf Riders might represent a threat if the Empire can't get some of their troops back and go push them off. For now, Wolf Riders committed to the blowout rather than going after the handguns and the huntsmen, which kind of surprised me. Meanwhile, Boris has the regeneration, and that's going to keep him in the fight for a long time. You don't need Laura Life when you got the Leg Biter Runefang giving you all that health back. Zweihander still going toe-to-toe with the Savage Orcs. This is a great fight for the Empire, and even though they're physically outmatched, their training and superior equipment should see them through this horde of Savage Barbarians. Meanwhile, Boris has landed with his Griffin in and amongst the Rusty Errors, White Cloak of Ulrich flashing, Blood War flashing, and that should be a rout for the archers pretty quick. So Boris has a lot on his shoulders at the moment. Typically, when you're going to invest upwards of 2,500 into a single legendary lord, you need them to put in some serious work, and he needs to finish off the Hammer of Gork, the Rock Lobbers, and the rest of the archers. And there's really not enough Knights of the Blazing Sun to put a lot of pressure on the Greenskins backline, so it's really up to him at this point. He's bounced straight to the Hammer of Gork. It should be only a couple of attacks, combined with Blood Roar and the Terror, to get that artillery crew running. Oh my god, he just jibbed like 15 models at once. It's amazing. Yep, they're terror routed already. Going to the other unit of Rock Lobbers. Few free Knights of the Blazing Sun, but they're combining with Transformation of Kadon to go after the River Troll Hag and try to get the magic off of the field. Stone Trolls are nearby though, and that might be a problem for these Knights because at this point, they don't have enough models or enough HP, enough anything really, to go toe-to-toe with those monsters of Grom the Paunch, and indeed, they are getting shish kebab. But so are the Stone Trolls, actually. Surprisingly, they look like they're about to round off. Language of the Boys not keeping them in the fight as efficiently as I would have thought. More Knights coming in for a cycle charge, running over the Goblins in the rear. Beautiful Hammer and Anvil, and then pushing on into the Goblin Archers and trying to get rid of all of this focus fire the Greenskins have tried to utilize against Boris Todbringer. Remember that Rusty Errors combined with 2 regular Goblin Archers is more than enough firepower to deal with someone like Boris if they can tie him down and prevent him from moving. If he's able to just kind of juke and dodge up in the skies, won't do a whole lot, but if he's pinned down in and amongst some Stone Trolls, Boris could drop incredibly quickly. Morale looks to be a big issue for both sides right now. A ton of routing, a ton of wavering, and a huge battle brewing between Boris Todbringer, Knights of the Blazing Sun, and the Stone Trolls. Oh, those Knights got a beautiful downhill charge, flaming damage into the ass of the Stone Trolls, and that's 22% extra damage on top of 60 plus, 70 plus charge bonus. I think Knights of the Blazing Sun have 72 charge bonus, so yeah, that was brutal, and they broke off immediately after impact. But Boris is getting dragged down. Grom is strong, he's a chariot. His stat line isn't amazing in and of itself, but you combine it with his charge bonus and his ability to cycle charge, he can actually mess up a lot of stuff in duels. Manage to shatter those Stone Trolls. Beautiful charge from Kark there. And that's big, getting rid of some of those bodyguards and getting rid of some of that regeneration. They won't be coming back once they're shattered. The River Troll Hag over on the other side of the battlefield just rallied. She'll be coming back. Regen will keep her in the fight for now anyway. And Boris again lands in and amongst the Hammer of Gork, and now pushing on to the archers to tear out everything on this side. But Grom is on the hunt, and just like Griffins, chariots can also get double attacks in. They'll get that impact hit, they'll get that charge bonus in, and then they'll land an extra attack directly after it. And Boris is feeling those effects for sure. Just jibbed another 15 or 20 models of archers, pushed through, and is running away, but taking off might be difficult. Great Swords and Savage Orcs have been the big nemesis this game, besides the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Stone Trolls, and they are still grinding it out in melee. Some of the Great Swords are breaking off. When Wa gets popped and they get that plus 24 melee attack and additional weapon damage, things can become a bit more problematic for the Great Swords, but still, decapitation's going off everywhere. The more healthy Great Swords are doing just fine, and in fact, they are going to win this engagement. Wa is popped. Savage Orcs become a lot scarier when the Green Roid Rage kicks in, but the Great Swords don't care. They're going to push all the way through and finish off the remnants of those Savage Orcs. And the Empire still has all 3 of their range units alive, even after the Spiders managed to charge into the rear. But Boris just broke off after a duel with Grom, and he is perilously close to that white line. And if he routes off the battlefield now, I think this is game over. If he, oh my god, he rallied with 5 feet to spare. If he left the battlefield right then and there, this game's over. I do not think the Empire would have had enough to deal with what remains of Grom the Paunch's and the Stone Trolls' HP pools, especially with them regenerating. They wouldn't have the burst damage required to finish them off for good. Ember Wizard got too close. Grom slowing him down, Stone Trolls chunking into that horse, and you will not escape. Or if you do, it won't be in a manner where you can keep casting. I think he's probably going to shatter. Yeah, full surround off now. That caster is gone for sure. About 100 HP left on the Ember Wizard. And yep, just shattered. Boris is still alive though. But he has to be close to the regen cap at this point. Legbiter has been putting in serious work all game long. And the effective HP pools of the Greenskins must be quite a bit larger than the Imperials at this point in the game. Stone Trolls and Grom still have not hit the cap yet. And so theoretically they could get thousands more HP left, and the missile resist obviously makes the effective HP pool of these trolls even greater. The silver bullets moved up too far, but even if they didn't move up at all and they were at max range, they're shooting magical bullets. Stone Trolls have magical resist. Grom the Paunch leading a charge downhill. They're going to completely bulldoze this poor unit, and the silver bullets sliced apart, as are the Huntsmen. Grom and the Stone Trolls are a massive issue. Boris has to come over here, he has to land, and he has to rout these trolls off. Blood Roar should still kick in, but Language of the Boys will work while Grom is in melee and will prevent any terror routes. Grom laying about with that massive axe. Stone Trolls look like they are indeed about to break off, and they did. Even with immune to psychology, their leadership is still not amazing. What you'll often see with the Greenskins or any troll unit, they'll break off, they'll come back, they'll break off, they'll come back. They keep getting that regeneration the whole time. But if you can shatter them for good, well then they lose, obviously, all of their effectiveness. So, they're not shattered, but they're breaking. Grom is getting low. Grom is managing to win a duel against Boris. Both are wavering now. Huntsman fighting with goblins in melee because they're out of ammo. And Boris down to 94 HP running for the hills, but he's still not shattered. Grom is alive at about 750 health or so. And if Boris doesn't come back again, I think Grom can cycle charge the Imperials ad infinitum without any hope for the Imperials to win this game. They don't have the damage required to kill him. So he's free for the moment, just styling on him, pimping on him, saying, you know what? I'm gonna cruise by in my 6.4 Cadillac and run you over, show you who's boss. There are a few great swords left, but yeah, none of these units. Oh, the silver bullets came back too. Only a handful of models over there on the horizon. This infantry will certainly get scythed apart by Grom the Paunch and his wolf chariot. Boris is still alive and not shattered. So we'll go to double. Oh my god, he just rallied. Let's go to double fast forward in a second here and wait till he comes back. Certainly Grom can run over Huntsman forever. This will not be an issue at all, but the silver bullets might be. I'll be curious to see what kind of DPS they can unleash when you've only got like 12, 15 models left. A balance bar clearly in the favor of the Greenskins for the moment, and we're going right down to the wire here, folks. This is going to be an exciting ending for sure. Silver bullets are still wavering. They just rallied. Leadership stabilizing a bit. Goblins into melee. Grom going straight for all the marbles. He wants those silver bullets dead. Boris realizes it. Remember, he only has 94 HP. One attack. Two attacks. He got a double attack in from the charge, and that's huge. He just broke Grom the Paunch off with 94 health left. Those double attacks from Flying Lords can be so powerful, and then he shatters. That will be the last impact he makes on the battlefield, but is it enough? Grom didn't shatter, but he's down to about 300 HP. Goblins and Huntsmen fighting in melee, and I'll be really curious to see who wins this duel. There's no wall left. We won't be seeing another wall. Goblins are wavering. Grom is still broken. He needs to come back. If the Goblins rout, this game's over. Everything's gone but the... Oh my god, the Huntsmen were the only unit left on the battlefield, and Grom didn't come back, which I've got to say is really embarrassing for him. Grom, buddy, if you return to the battlefield, you could have killed like 350 more Huntsmen easily, without a shadow of a doubt, without a care in the world. And he ran away from like 50 Huntsmen whose leadership was already starting to falter. Oh my god. Boris Todbringer with 94 health left, landed on Grom, dealt, I don't know, about 700 damage to him instantly because of the double attack. One when he lands, one with the attack immediately after. Grom breaks off, and his leadership just didn't stabilize in time. And it's so disappointing for the Greenskins, because if he came back there, they easily win that game. Easily. Wow. Crazy game. Super fun to watch, and really well played to both players. Now, yeah, nothing about that game was easy. It doesn't really get a whole lot closer than that. We've had maybe a handful of battles ever on this channel. Lotus Moon versus Aerocrastic, the Vlad and Ungrim duel at the end of one of those cinematic battles. There have only been like maybe 4 or 5 on the channel that were closer. So definitely not easy, but Grom, if he returns, definitely manages to pull that game out. He just didn't. His leadership didn't hold up. So, one thing I was really impressed with the Greenskins that game, I've said it before, Fate of Boring, Spirit Leech, I think they're lame spells, but it makes sense that there's direct damage in the context of Warhammer 2, and in the context of this battle, the Greenskins utilize them exceptionally well. Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech both, to deal with those Knights of the Blazing Sun early. We saw in the first like 2 minutes of that game, Knights of the Blazing Sun got completely dumpstered by that magical outpouring from River Trollhag because he knew what kind of threat they posed to his army. It's really important when you're going into a game. You need to know what units are going to carry you to victory. Grom, the River Trollhag, and the Stone Trolls were the most important troops on the field. And Boris, his micro was fantastic that game. The Great Swords did amazing. And Kark managed to keep his ranged troops online that entire time as well, which I find very impressive. Great game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Indie Pride, signing out for now.